Ladies and gentlemen, please give a very warm welcome to Luai Ahmed.
Hi, everybody. My name is Luai Ahmed. I was born and raised in Yemen, so this is about to get a bit depressing, so bear with me. So I grew up in Yemen, in mosques and schools that taught me that Jews were evil and that Jews wanted to kill me. As a 10-year-old, I stomped on the Israeli flag during the morning school assembly. And in mosques, I repeated after my imams, "May Allah kill the Zionists. May Allah kill the Jews." Anti-Semitism ran deeply in my blood for the majority of my life. Without ever meeting a Jew, I believed that they were all evil, that they controlled the world, that they controlled the media, that they had one collective mission, and it was to kill all Arabs and destroy Islam. And therefore, because the Jews were so evil, so conniving, so genetically flawed, we had to get rid of them. That was the only way we could find peace in the Middle East. I grew up reading my father's writings, which argued that the instability and Islamic extremism in the Middle East were byproducts of Zionism. I blamed the Jews for everything, even though my country, Yemen, and every single Muslim country had death penalties for leaving Islam or criticizing Islam, for being gay, for committing adultery. None of these things came from the Jews. They came from us, from our culture. But yet, I blamed the Jews for everything. I overcame the anti-Semitism I grew up with in 3 phases. The first phase was in 2016, when I met an Israeli Jew in Sweden. His name was Tal, and he was very excited to meet me. He told me he wanted to make me jahnoun, he wanted to introduce me to his Jewish food and everything, but I hated him. I figured out that the hate was one-sided. A few months later, Tal became one of my favorite people in the student house. The second phase was October 7. When I saw videos and images of Israelis being slaughtered, I imagined my new Jewish friends in those videos. I imagined Tal being slaughtered. I imagined Noah, my best friend's son, being kidnapped. I imagined Ofer, my editor at the newspaper I was working with, being killed. And then I saw my family and friends celebrating and justifying October 7. Seeing Muslims I care for justify the murder of Jews I care for traumatized me. I could not believe what I saw in front of me. It felt surreal, like a fever dream. In November 2024, I was invited by an incredible organization called DiploAct to visit Israel. Shout out to DiploAct. And they wanted me to, quote unquote, I was shocked that Israelis wanted a Yemeni to come to Israel. Like a Yemeni Muslim to visit Israel? Are you serious? And they wanted me to find the truth about Israel. So in an act of bravery, I traveled to Israel. The day I traveled to Israel, my brother, who is practically my soulmate, blocked me and told me that I was no longer his brother. But at that point, it did not matter if I lost every single person in my life. I would not stand by and watch as people justified and celebrated the murder of Tal, Ruby, Noah, and Ofer. So I went to Israel. And on my way, I was trembling. I could not remember a time in my life when I was so scared as I was when I was on the airplane on my way to Israel. Of course, by then I had met incredible Jews in Sweden who had shaken my anti-Semitism a little bit, but still, I was afraid. I believed I was going to be shot in Israel simply for being an Arab Muslim. On November 25th, 2023, approximately 6 weeks after October 7, I arrived in Tel Aviv for the first time ever. I immediately went to the square where Israelis gathered to stand up for the hostages. And the first thing I saw was something that I will never forget. A beautiful young girl stood in the middle of the square, holding up a sign that said, "I am an Arab Muslim Bedouin. Israel gave me my rights and freedom. Meanwhile, Hamas takes away Aisha's rights. Bring them home." I could not believe what I saw in front of me. It felt surreal, like a fever dream. 20 years living in the Arab Muslim world, not in a million years would I have imagined seeing an Arab Muslim woman in Israel, not only proud of Israel being her home, but carrying a sign that was basically political dynamite in the Arab world. A few minutes after seeing this Bedouin girl, I ran into a guy named Jonathan Al-Khouri in the same square, a Lebanese Christian Israeli who was also a staunch defender of Israel. What? Khouri told me that his father fought with the IDF side by side and that his family ended up seeking asylum and becoming Arab refugees in Israel. I could not believe what I had heard. It felt surreal, like a fever dream, like my entire life was a lie. Jonathan, who is now one of my closest Israeli friends, invited me then to a beach party I couldn't attend. I told him I wanted to meet Arab Israelis because they felt unreal, like Pokemons. And he laughed and told me, "Babe, there are more than 2 million of us here. You're gonna find so many, don't worry about it." I could not believe what Jonathan had told me. So a week ago, another Arab Israeli named Ali Shaban uploaded a video talking about his experience as an Arab Israeli in Israel. And he said something in a beautiful Levantine accent that changed me or resonated so much with me. He said in Arabic, "We Arabs in Israel know and see the truth. And we have a responsibility to show this truth to the rest of the world because people will not believe the Jews because people are anti-Semitic." Unlike Ali, I'm not Israeli, but like him, because I came to Israel, I have also seen the truth with my eyes. And just like Ali, I feel a responsibility to speak the truth, to defend Tal, Noah, Ruby, Ofer, and all the incredible loving Jews and Israelis I have met since October 7. Every time I go to Israel, I feel warmth and love, which is the exact opposite of what I thought I was gonna feel. And seeing the Star of David waving and hanging everywhere in Israel, when I was there for the first time, it made me feel safe because my Jewish friends in Europe do not feel safe wearing the Star of David. They leave it at home. They cannot share their identity in public. But in Israel, the Star of David is waving everywhere. But there's more to Israel than just a Jewish state and a Jewish identity. If you find me in a bar or a cafe in Israel, you will find me with my Ethiopian Jewish friends, my Lebanese Arab friends, my Muslim Arab friends, my Ukrainian Jewish friends, and many others. To me, Israel is like a wonderland, full of the most amazing people in the world, people forced to be on defense mode and survival mode 24/7. But yet, even with the sirens waking Israelis up at 3 a.m., or my Israeli friends being forced to leave work and go to Gaza, the beauty, resilience, love, and concept of Tikkun Olam are what color this beautiful community. Because the Israeli and Jewish community are not just communities, really. They're one big family. A family with a deep history and an unbreakable connection to the Middle East. I couldn't be more proud to stand here in front of all of you and advocate for your right not only to exist, but to be respected in the Middle East, in Europe, in America, and in every corner of this world. And now, every time I go to Israel, I am dumbfounded by how much I actually love it, the people and the culture, and it happens to be the most hated family in the world. It feels surreal, like a fever dream. I know that you're going through a hard time, and it's been hard times. I can only imagine, as a non-Jewish, non-Israeli, the things I see on the internet, the things I hear from my cousins and friends are horrifying. So as a Jew, the internet is not a safe space. And sometimes the entire world can feel like an unsafe space. But I just want you to know that even if it might not seem so, there are so many people out there who see you, who know you, and who love you. And even though I was brainwashed to believe that the Jews hated me, I understood that with the Jews, if you give them a little love, they give you love 10 times more back. Because that is what Jews are all about. Love. Thank you.